Good evening, this is BelGeode, and we are here in FALCON 4.33, which is the BMS version. BMS stands for Benchmark Sims, and you'll have to pardon me for a second here because I got to punch in my VHF and UHF frequencies so that way I can hear the tower and we can get our launch clearance. Okay, so I've got UHF 227.40 and VHF 117.60. That should bring the tower online.
Sting 1-1, ready for departure.
We'll watch the E2C while we're at it.
Sting 1-1, position and hold.
Chalice 1-1, ready for departure.
And there she goes.
Chalice 1-1, you are cleared for takeoff.
Seems to be a little bit of radio lag here. Whoa,
Sting 1-1,
what is that?
hold short.
Oh hell, I didn't know these guys were there.
Ready for departure.
And damn, is that my Rio? Okay, yeah, he looks a little bit creepy. We won't be looking at him for the rest of this. Okay, next thing I'm going to need to do here is I'm going to need to put the parking brake on, so that way I can call the island and tell them I need my chocks removed.
Sting 1-1, copy.
So that is a done deal. Okay, and the ship is turning into the wind. You can tell by the shadow in the cockpit here. Just like that, we are now turned into the wind. We are on CVN 65, otherwise known as the USS Enterprise, and we are southwest of the Korean Peninsula right now. This is one of the training missions that you get with BMS Falcon. So we're going to be doing a little bit of carrier ops here just to see how everything works.
Chalice 1-1, resume on navigation.
Okay, well, he's got his clearance. That's good for him. I'm just going to head over to Cat 2 here and park myself over by the JBDs.
Sting 1-1, you are cleared for takeoff.
Well, thank you so much, lady. I appreciate that. Damn, these brakes are a little springy here. I promise I'll tell you what we're doing in this flight sim in a moment here. I'm just trying to get myself set up for a Cat launch. It's supposed to be automatic here with these things. Alright, we're going to need to push forward just a bit here. And yeah, like I said, the way that this flight sim works, when you are on a carrier, you don't really need to apply any extra buttons or anything. You just line yourself up with a cap track and it'll automatically stop you. So a little bit further. There we go. Okay, now I can unfold the wings and we will get ready to launch here. And then once we launch, I will explain this game, what it's for, and why we're doing it. Ugh, that dude is freaky. Oh my god. Okay. Well, the JBD is up, so we are good to go. There's no crew on the deck here like there is in FSX, so I can't wait for the little dude to give me the signal, but I am, since I'm already at the holdback bar, I'm going to go ahead and throttle us up, and we'll go to an exterior view for the launch, because I love watching the steam come out. Okay, so we're pretty much set to go. In order to launch, we're going to get full afterburner. You can see the steam puffing out, and there we go. Alright, we're up.
Sting 1-1, resume on navigation. Hornet 1-1, you are cleared for takeoff. Hornet 1-3, taxi.
Oh, and in case you haven't figured, we are Sting 1-1, and we just got clearance to resume on nav, so I'm going to come off the burners here, and we're going to head for South Korea and do a little bit of sightseeing today. And even though Allie is not with me this time around, I am going to do her proud by doing a snap roll here. Whee! Alright, there we go. Okay, I think we're going to have to veer a little bit to the left in order to get to where I'd like to go.
Hornet 1-3, you are cleared for takeoff.
Looks like the other Hornets are launching. Good on them. Okay, so, why BMS Falcon? You're probably asking that. I've got DCS World, I've got FSX. Like, seriously, why would I need to play this one as well? Well, partly for nostalgia's sake. This was one of the very first combat flight simulators that I ever got into, back when it was just called Falcon 4.0 and was originally made by Microprose. Since then, of course, the company, I guess they went out of business, so, they don't make games anymore.
Hornet 1-3.
But
Resume navigation.
in a similar manner to FSX, this game has a huge cult following. So naturally, when Benchmark Simulators, or BMS, decided to work on this game and basically breathe new life back into the game, it really drew a huge crowd. This is the same game that way back when I was telling you that I used to fly with a virtual squadron called the Freebirds, and back then we only flew F-16s because that's pretty much all you could fly back then. But since BMS took over this game, they've made it now that you can fly the F-18, the Harrier, the Tornado, a whole bunch of aircraft. In fact, the only thing that I don't think you can fly is the F-14 Tomcat, which of course upsets me a little bit, but I can live with it for now. And that's only because I know that DCS World is coming out with Tomcat, well, 11X simulations in concert with DCS World. Alright. We are still supersonic here, and we are almost to Korea, so I kind of wanted to show this game off because the 4.33 update is like brand spanking new. Now, bear in mind, the only way you're going to be able to get this update is if you have your original Falcon 4.0 disc, like I do. Never fear, though, since it's been out of print for years, you still can get it by going to places like GOG.com, which I should have linked in the credits or in the video description below. And once you obtain the original Falcon 4.0 discs, basically all it does is it checks to see if you have it. As long as it can confirm that you do in fact have it, it'll allow you to install BMS Falcon. And as I'm sure you can see right now, it is a vast improvement over the original. The graphics have definitely been upgraded a metric crap ton, and it is absolutely beautiful. I'm going to get down and dirty here, and I'm going to show you a little bit of the landscape. Oh, look at that. Look at that. That is new. I don't recall seeing that before, or at least not to that degree of fidelity. Okay, so here we got some land class down below us, and as you can see, it kind of reminds me a little bit of Orbix from FSX fame. It definitely has that feel as far as their sceneries go. Now, their vector graphics, basically like the lines of the terrain, that still leaves a little bit to be desired, because if you look off in the distance off to the left there is a river that is not entirely flat. But overall, it's definitely done justice to the map of Korea that comes with the Falcon series of games. Look at the textures down there. You can see like some red dirt. You can see all the various trees. We're going to fly over some of the towns and cities as well too, so you can take a look at that. They have really amped this game up a notch. There's a crooked river right there I was telling you about. We'll take a look at it from the outside as well in a moment. But yeah, they have really amped this game up a notch, and I have to say I am extremely impressed with the progress that they made technologically on it. Back then, we thought it was ahead of its time because it was, like I said, one of the only combat simulators out there that you could fly in. But taking from what they had before and basically just building upon it, they've created a masterpiece here. There are still some things that you can see are not quite perfect. For example, the layout of the land, everything is kind of square. You'll notice there's no true curves to the land. But, I mean, with the texture that they've put on top of this thing, that certainly does make up for it. I do have the autogen turned down a little bit, so you're not going to see a whole hell of a lot of skyscrapers, but you will see some significant buildings as we fly over them here. And it looks like they're almost going for a somewhat photoreal texturing here. This is actually pretty decent. That's not bad. If I didn't know that was just like a flat picture down there, I would expect that to be 3D houses. I'm not quite sure how much like Korea that actually looks like, but hey, not gonna knock it. I think they're doing an excellent job with this game. So, what can you do with this game? I know I've already said that it's a combat flight simulator. Now, what does that entail? Well, just like DCS, which I'm sure if you've been watching my videos, you know all about DCS by now, you can do combat, whether it be player versus player combat or, you know, dynamic missions and so on and so forth. That's all available to you in this game. Now, one of the things that sets this apart from DCS, which DCS still has not been able to manage, is the fact that you can do dynamic campaigns. Basically, your actions in the campaign determines what happens next. So if you are a really kick-ass pilot that's doing a lot of air-to-air missions, maybe you take down a whole bunch of bogeys, you became an ace in, like, you know, one mission, so on and so forth, that's going to affect how many planes the enemy has left over for the rest of the campaign. If you're an air-to-ground pilot and you manage to destroy all of the targets, again, it's gonna, you know, affect how much is available for the enemy for the rest of that particular mission. So it definitely works as far as getting a feeling like you're making a difference in the game. It's not totally scripted, in other words. What I'm doing here is, for the most part, scripted. It's always going to be at this time of the day. You know, it's always going to have a carrier. It's always going to put you on a carrier. But if you think about it from the standpoint of this is a training flight, yeah, you expect it to be like that. When you get into the campaign, and even if you're doing like a multiplayer type campaign, which is definitely a possibility with this thing, it can change from moment to moment. No two campaign is ever going to be the same. Now, DCS does have some things like that, especially in the multiplayer realm, because of course humans are the big X factor when it comes to campaigns. NPCs will always do what they're programmed to do. But where DCS falls short in that particular avenue is because of the fact that everything is pretty much scripted. So you can't guarantee, you know, that there's going to be like a certain element of randomness to the game. This definitely has that possibility. If you are really messing up, you just might find South Korea gets taken over. Now, in addition to South Korea, they are also probably going to put back in some of the other maps. They've got a ton of different areas, which anyone who plays DCS knows. Right now, the only thing we've got is the Balkans, so Georgia, southern Russia, part of the Ukrainian peninsula, Crimean peninsula, I should say. With this game, yeah, the main game does come with the Korean peninsula, but there are others like, you know, around the Bosnia area. There's Greek campaigns, there's, you know, desert areas. I want to say like the Middle East and whatnot, but don't quote me on that. I don't remember the exact area because I haven't downloaded any of the add-ons for this just yet. But for what it is, it has grown up. I will definitely say this game has definitely grown up. Why the hell is my master caution light on? What the hell is going on there? I just noticed that was on all of a sudden. I don't think I did anything out of the ordinary, just, you know, flying around buzzing buildings and all. Keep an eye on that there. Alright, so continuing on, like I was saying, you know, there's dynamic campaigns that you can do with this sucker, both in single player and, of course, multiplayer. The multiplayer campaigns you could host, like, you know, LAN servers and so on and so forth. Pretty standard fare, and I would be willing to bet that the guys at Eagle Dynamics probably got some inspiration from this game when it originally came out. And I don't know if you've noticed, but I've actually been clicking stuff in the cockpit. Pretty much all the aircraft that you get in this thing, you do have clickable cockpits. So there is a bit of a learning curve with this sucker. As a matter of fact, if I remember correctly, when I first got Falcon 4.0, the manual itself was bigger than anything else in the damn box. It was like a huge Bible of a manual. Yeah, it was definitely a piece of work. Nothing's changed, except of course they've added more planes, and the manual is still huge. Only difference is it is now digital. Alright, so we're pretty much done with our tour here. Show you a little bit more of the coastline. If you look on my left MFD, you will see a triangle about center near the top there. And I don't know what that yellow cross is. That yellow cross shouldn't have any bearing on anything. And I don't know why I've got a flashing green light on the right side. Something's going on here with my avionics. But anyway, that white triangle that you see on the left MFD, that would be the carrier. So we're going to head back out there. And I'm going to call for clearance from now. I'm at it.
Sting 1-1, inbound for landing.
Okay, so they should respond to us momentarily and start giving us vectors in.
Sting 1, you're outside my airspace. Contact me at 30 miles.
What? Oh, well, I guess that does make sense. Yeah, that's a similarity between the other flight sims out there. You got to be within a certain range before you can contact the tower, so not too surprised. There is an airport out there, though, so let's take a look at that. I don't know what airport this is, but I do notice that it has been hella upgraded since the last time I got into the cockpit of any Falcon 4 aircraft. We may need to take a closer look at this sucker on our way out here. I like that neighborhood out there too. That's pretty cool. Alright, let's do this. Let's go ahead and make a right. Alright, should be getting kind of close. There we go.
Altitude. Altitude.
Betty, what the hell are you talking about? Shut up. Altitude, my ass. We're at like 7,000 feet, I think. Alright, let's get a closer look at this airport here. I'm assuming this is friendly because they haven't shot any SAMs at me. So, yeah, this has got to be one of our air bases. Look at the layout. It almost looks photoreal there. Of course, I don't see any aircraft there, so I'm assuming they probably did not place any since this was a training mission. But all the same, though, that looks pretty damn cool. That's up to FSX standards there. I may even say DCS standards. Huh. And I think that is the whole point of this all, is basically they want to make this game modern again, and they want to make it competitive with flight sims like DCS. Is it up to the graphical standards of DCS 1.5? Not exactly. It's a little bit behind. But like I said before, for what it is, I think it looks pretty damn good. Because I remember playing this thing the first time, and holy hell, may as well be playing Star Wars in the arcade. It was crazy. So yeah, I think they've definitely done it some justice, and I will be happy to add this to my rotation. I might actually try one of the campaigns, maybe either as a Navy pilot or possibly a Marine Corps pilot, because of course I'm dying to jump in the Harrier. That might be the next video. Alright, but we are still heading back out to the carrier. You can see my mouse cursor. I am lowering the range on my radar, so the triangle is a little bit further up now. I'm real curious to know why that master caution light is on. That's kind of weird there. But you can see our diamond, which is our waypoint, off in the distance, so the carrier should be out in that direction. And we're just going to start coming down and head towards it here. So yeah, like I said, you can get this game on GOG.com. I believe they're selling it for like 14 or 15 bucks, something like that. So if you really do want to give BMS Falcon a try, then get the original Falcon 4.0. You don't even need to install it. Basically, all you have to do is just put the disc in your CD or DVD drive, and when you go to install BMS Falcon, it will search for it. You just tell it where to search. As long as it can verify that you got it, you're good as gold. It'll install everything for you. And like I said, I imagine all the extra add-ons and mods that people have designed over the year that have now been incorporated into Falcon will be available, if not now, but really, really soon. So yeah, I would highly recommend you give this one a shot. Alright, where in the hell is a carrier? I don't think I can see it yet. I've got this thing set for about 40 out. I really wish I knew what was going on with this master caution. Let me see if there is another display that'll at least give me some details as to what's going on here. It's nothing with the engines. Those all. Oh wait, what is this? What is this? Avionics. Huh. I don't remember programming any failures into this. Is this like something that just happens randomly? That's interesting. Well, there's definitely an avionics issue. It's a good thing we're almost back to the carrier, which, by the way, is a hell of a lot closer than I thought. There it is, right there. Look at that sucker. It's just floating around. It's a lot closer than that waypoint would have had us believe. Alright, well, let me go ahead and see if I can call him, because I should be in range now. Okay, here we go.
Sting 1-1, inbound for landing.
We're gonna go past the carrier, turn around, do a carrier break.
Sting 1, you are outside my airspace. Contact me 30 miles out.
Wait, what? Oh, now she's just straight up lying to me. There is no way in hell we are still out of range. The carrier is right there. That lady's on crack. Alright, but yeah, we are going to pass up the carrier, and then we're going to turn around, go past the carrier in the same direction that it's going, do our carrier break, and then we'll get into the pattern here. And I'm going to need to slow down, so this will be the perfect opportunity for me to do so here. Trying to keep her over 1,000 feet. See how well this works here, if I can get us slowed down and still over our altitude restriction here. Alright, here we go. Whoa. It's dipping down a little bit too much there. Alright, I can't see the carrier from this angle, but I know I am heading in the right direction. Yep, there it is. Okay. Let's straighten up again. Okay, we are passing the Enterprise now, so I'm going to go ahead and go straight for a little bit more. Let's see if I can turn this camera around. There are multiple camera settings, and yes, this does work with Track IR or Face Track No IR if you are like me. I just don't have it turned on right now. Alright, so we're doing our carrier break.
Warning, warning.
Oh, come on.
Warning.
Don't give me that bullcrap, Betty. I am not stalling here. I've got enough speed going on here. Okay. Alright. We are just about a beam, so let me go ahead and put the hook down. There we go. Drop the gear in a second as well. What's our speed? Can't even see the HUD here. Too much green. Alright, we should be good. Let me check configuration here. Configuration looks dirty, which is exactly the way that it should be. Alright, let's go ahead and turn around on our base leg, so to speak. And we'll go back into the cockpit and see if we can spot the carrier and try to line up properly the first time. Really don't feel like doing any bolters today, and I also don't feel like slamming into the back of the carrier, so we'll have to do this right the first time. Alright, well, I am exactly where I need to be according to the AOA indexer. Okay, let's begin our turn to final. This will be a hell of a lot better once I get my Face Track No IR hooked up. Having a little problem with the webcam that it works with. I can't seem to get the webcam to turn itself on with Face Track No IR, so if anyone knows how to troubleshoot that, I would appreciate some assistance. Okay, but we're just about lined up. We are coming in a little too fast, so I'm going to pull it back here and lift our nose up somewhat. Alright, there we go. Just the right angle of attack. Come on, baby. Still a little bit left of the flight line there. Let me dip the nose down somewhat. Yeah, we're not quite lined up. Well, we're still within parameters, so we're not getting waved off just yet, but I do need to make some adjustments, so let me just pull her down just a bit here. There we go, there we go. Okay, now we're coming in too fast. I'm going to have to pull the power back here. Alright, here we go, folks. We're going for broke. And we're down. How do you like them apples? I think that was like a 2-wire trap, so you know what? I'm not going to complain too much. So we'll go ahead and get the hook up, and we'll get off the flight line here. Very nice. Very nice. Now, if only I could get something like this for DCS World. Work on that, Eagle Dynamics. Now, I imagine if this was multiplayer, this deck would look a hell of a lot more crowded and a hell of a lot better with all the Hornets and E-2Cs and whatnot all over the place. So I would be really interested in seeing what squads are out there these days for this particular game. I'm sure the community is still very, very big. Alright, let's see if we can get back here without hitting the island. And I'm going to park myself on elevator number 3 over there. There we go. That should work just nicely. Oops. Okay. One thing I can't figure out is why, with 0 throttle, I am still moving forward. These engines ain't that strong. Come on now. Alright, but there we go. That is our parking spot. I'm going to open the canopy, I'm going to turn off the engines, and I'm going to thank you all for watching. This has been BelGeode. I've been playing BMS FALCON 4.33. BMS stands for Benchmark Sims. In order to get this game, you need the original FALCON 4.0. So if you are a former player of that, head over to the BMS website, which should be linked in the description, and you can download this. If you are a new player, go to places like GOG.com. You can buy it for like 15 bucks. Real cheap, well worth it. And I'm going to be doing some more videos of this, but for now, we're going to call this particular one done. So like I said, thank you for watching. If you have enjoyed this video, feel free to go ahead and give me a like. Don't forget to subscribe if you have not yet done so. This video right now is taking the place of FSX. I couldn't get the FSX video done in time. I'm having some technical issues, but I will have FSX up sometime within the next day or so, and then of course DCS a little bit later on this week. Alrighty folks, that'll do it for me. Everything's off and we're looking good. So, from the Enterprise, ciao!